Hey guys, and welcome back. Today we are back with the Chevelle. I've let it marinate for a couple weeks now. Had to get some other stuff done in life. And now we're going to see exactly how bad I messed this thing up at the Bluff Burnouts contest. If you guys remember, I overheated, I caught fire. The crossover pipe was red hot. So let's see what kind of damage we did and what we got to do to fix it to get it back home. So this is our S10 exhaust pipe that we use as our crossover on the turbo Chevelle here. And this thing got red hot when we were doing the burnout competition. I mean, it was red hot. So I had this exhaust wrapped. It's the DEI, not the cheap stuff. Usually works pretty well, but apparently when you turn the oven up to making the metal red hot, it just cooks everything, which is understandable. And I think that this heat wrap actually saved a lot of stuff. I mean, it's now a little cookie, but it saved most of the piping. I mean, I'm probably gonna have to redo this with some titanium or something. I did get one of these bellows, and it does have the little slip fit job in there, but as it expanded, I think it expanded, pulled the one slip out of the other, and it went back like a so. Slightly skewing, you know, all of my connection and everything because it twisted the pipe and things. Steel seals. I'm just gonna run this long enough that I can get this car back to the house because there's other things going on in the background that I can't tear into this and do this right now. But right now we're just kind of doing an inspection to see what happens when you turn the heat all the way up and run a turbo car on the rev limiter for a few minutes. And I do mean a few minutes. But overall it looks like everything else is fairly well intact. So that's a good sign. This is where I had to put the fire out. I guess there was a fire somewhere near the turbo. I didn't see any evidence of an actual combustion event that happened. There was a lot of smoke. I'm gonna go with oil got on the turbo blanket and we kept it from burning down. That's all I got for now. This stuff is corrosive as heck and I rinsed a lot of it off. It's still sitting there. A lot of this stuff is gonna end up getting replaced, I'm sure, and need a good cleaning. And I left the cast iron manifolds on here for a reason. I was hoping that they would help contain some of that heat, send it down to the turbo, help it spool, do things, you know, matching it with the cast iron eBay manifold deal that I got on this side. You know, same reasons over there. I didn't anticipate and plan on there was going to be a lot of heat right here by the coils, so I made these little heat shields. They seem to have done okay. I didn't really need that on this side. I did use the 45-degree boots, but we're gonna look at one of these. I saw this when I was on the underside, and well, there you go. These are done. I can probably put some tape on there and get it to where I need to get it to, but these boots are done. They don't handle whatever the heat was. Oh, that smells great. I don't know what that is. A little bit of cookie and death, I don't know. We're just gonna put that, pretend like I didn't see that, until I can get new wires on there, and that's gonna be fine. So here she is, the turbo blanket. This was brand new before this run, and I put some heat to it, apparently. I think this was a $25 Amazon special. Definitely has the material to do what it needs to do. This is all cooked in here. No longer doing what it needs to, obviously. These are my hot points, evidenced by the discoloration, and something started burning right there. I don't know what that is, zip tie or something? Wastegate, what is this? The wastegate feed, I don't know. Wastegate vacuum line is a little bit loose. I thought that material looked kind of like there's rubber on here, but that doesn't seem to be burnt at all. So props to China for the, you know, $12 roll of this high temperature, whatever this silicone crap is, because that actually held decent. It didn't burn up. Now that I know me and how I'm going to treat this thing, I guess that means I need to step that up to some brake hard line. I have to get some fittings for that and run actual hard lines for all these lines so they don't destroy themselves. And that probably tells me that I was getting exhaust out of here, and I probably got the flange on the blow-off valve here probably warped because it got too hot, so I wouldn't be surprised if when I take that apart that that's not doing good. I've been debating on if I need an entire exhaust coming down. It is nice that it's not super duper loud. Everybody wants to hear what the turbo Chevelle sounds like, and then I fire it up, and you know, a turbo is a big muffler basically. It doesn't make it sound cool. It's not like dirtbag. It's just basically straight piped. Sounds awesome. You know, you got a big turbo on there. It doesn't sound cool. So I'm thinking about, I was wanting to do like a hater pipe, maybe out the hood. I don't want to cut this hood. I don't know. We'll have to figure that out and move forward on that. Another thing I noticed down here is a positive battery terminal. Put a little rubber boot on there to keep it protected, and that thing just melted right off. So I'm gonna have to put a heat shield around that, probably get another one, maybe wrap it with something, but it's just melted off on there. A little better shot of that. It just drooped down. And I got a pretty good gap there between the, oh no I don't, between the downpipe. Turbo stuff gets hot. I know, I've read it, I've heard it. It gets really hot. I had heat shields here around this 4-inch pipe, which I ovaled a little bit, but it still got pretty hot in the floorboards. I could feel it on this crossover pipe. I didn't wrap those. I had them wrapped previously, so I'm gonna have to wrap that again. Just don't get it red hot like I did before, because that just cooks this wrap. AC still works great. My little bracket here I did off the ICT billet cover. Where's it at? Right about there. That's where that fitting comes out. You know, had to clearance and I got a video on that. I had to clearance the bracket here, and then to keep the belt from rubbing, I made this little metal bracket deal, and that worked great. I don't have, that I found, I don't really have any leaks under here. Everything seemed to hold up, you know, typical LS stuff. I did have a little bit of a fluid building up here, but that's mostly condensation, I think, because we're inside. Maybe a little bit of a drip. Yep, a little bit of a drip there. I'll tighten on those. Just this all got really hot, so a lot of my fittings are heat cycled or whatnot. But if that's all I got is a little drip here and there, then I'm happy with it. It performed flawlessly for what it did. That's about all I can look at in the front here for any damage I think I found or can find. Most of it was just, it got really super hot, and I used some decent components, but I probably should have used better stuff and more heat shields. But it's my first turbo build, so I think it did great for what it was. My PCV setup is on point. I've got no smoke blow through, blow by. I got nothing coming out of the breathers or out of the catch cans, or it doesn't smoke when you get on it, so I'm capturing all the blow by. So I'll cover that in another video, how I designed that and what I did that made it work without just dumping oil everywhere. So that's cool. Anyways, as far as I get on the front, I'm gonna order some parts and we'll get that fixed when they get in. Now we're gonna see how bad the back is. There was some tire flapping around over there. Got a pretty good contact right there. Doesn't look like a dented fender. Apparently I got a little hot there. The exhaust pipe is hitting there. Melted the wrap off. And then there's this little guy where I tagged the wall pretty good. So you can see I got a little bit of gap on this side on the bumper and a lot of bit of gap on that side, which is fine because you know how we do here. We're gonna end up making a diffuser in the back anyway, so I guess this gives me an excuse to cut and weld the bumper back to where it needs to be and kind of French it in a little bit so it looks a little better like a modern car. Tuck the bumper in, if you will, and then I'll probably build a diffuser off the bottom of that to help evacuate the air from under the car. So nothing I'm really worried about. I did damage the taillight extension housing. As you can see, it pushed it into the body here, pushed over into the trunk lid. So I might be able to just adjust the trunk lid over a little bit, and that's where that lives now. This doesn't look too badly bent, but it did smash that pretty good. So we'll get in there and see if I can't bend some of this stuff back and just spray paint it and call it a day. I might leave that as a battle wound. Don't know. I guess we'll figure it out. So let me get this thing jacked up. We'll go under here and see what's going on. So it looks like one of the tire belts, I guess, came up and smacked this fender here and the back of the quarter panel and bent it up. So I might be able to bend this back down and get that going where it needs to go. Oh no, I don't see anything bad under here. My rear end is leaking a little bit, but I'm past my 500-mile break-in on this quick performance rear, so I got to change the fluid anyway. So I'll probably pop that center section out and reseal it and put some sealant on the two plugs here, make sure that's good. The only thing I see making contact is right there in the exhaust pipe. A little vent that I put in there is making some contact there, so I'm gonna have to probably rotate that around to come off the backside and do something a little different with that vent so it's not hitting. I don't think my bars are bent. I was afraid that with it hitting the wall so hard that it might have bent these bars, these 4-link bars, but they look to be decent. Got a brand new balanced drive shaft from Missouri Driveline. That thing's going to handle way more power than I can put down to it, so I'm not worried about that. Well, yeah, all in all, I don't see really any damage down here. Looking pretty good. I got a little bit exhaust leak right there. It might be a bad V-band. That ain't gonna hurt nobody. Yeah. Looking good back here, I guess. So that's all I got for you today. I just wanted to get in here and do some damage assessment, see how bad I broke this thing. Thankfully, it's not that bad. I tried to plan ahead as much as I could and tried to get as many components as I could on here to mitigate heat. I do need to vent the hood. I think that'll help get a lot of this heat out of here. And I probably need to replace a lot of my heat wrap stuff because it got overcooked. So I might go with a different brand or a different type of heat shields and things. I may end up trying to put the coils in the fenders or something, try to get these plug wires so they won't melt. But all in all, I think I got a pretty decent design. I just need to not get it as hot. I think it did great. So if you guys got any questions or if you want me to explain on something that I kind of touched over in the video, please let me know down there in the comments. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next one.